Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are we today? This is Spirit Journey. Yeah, my screen for a moment had this notice on it, and so I was trying to read it. That's why there was some delay. But yes, good morning. Today is Wednesday, November 19th, 2025, and it's about 3:50 something in the morning. Yeah, it's still dark outside. I love looking out the window. And yes, in the background, you hear little Lavvy. Yeah, my little darling little Pekingese. Yes, I couldn't sleep at all. So I was up much of the night. And yeah, this is very reflective. This talk this live stream that I'm going to do. I'm very, excuse me, I'm very reflective this morning. Boy, it seems very busy. Just a lot of things going on. Yeah, I just wanted to share my thoughts, talk about little Lavvy, my little doggy. And I want to talk about the wealthy and everything. And anything else that I think might be pertinent, you know? So yeah. Uh, let's see. Well, Lavi is sleeping. He was a little restless, and yeah, Lavi's health is very delicate. I found these supplements for him, and I think that's actually given him some, but his mobility. I think he's walking a little better. He's not shaking as much. Yeah, I was concerned yesterday. This had never happened before. Um, Caught me by surprise. Well, yesterday I was doing some serious house cleaning. I was cleaning the kitchen, and yeah, Lavi had his breakfast. Um, yeah, I gave him mashed potato and chicken, little bits of chicken. And yes, he ate that up. I didn't overdo it. But with Lavi, he's been real hungry lately. Yeah, he's on steroids, and that makes you hungry, makes you gain weight. And so I want to still monitor his weight. I don't want to give him too much food. And I shared before about his GI that there was some blockage. And so, according to the x-rays and what his vet had told me. So my aim is to try to, well, decrease his food intake because he did gain a lot of weight, but also with him that if you feed him too much, he won't be able to hold it down. And so he's been like complaining lately. You wonder, well, how could a dog complain? Well, good question. Um, he'll start. Well, he'll start. He'll be restless and walking back and forth, and just restless. And he would pee and poo where he not supposed to, and that's not like him. And it's obvious. Somebody do it right in front of the door. The main entrance and other parts of the house. So I didn't like that. And this happened, I think, 2 days or something like that, 2 or 3 days. So I felt sorry for him, because I was giving him like rather the full plate, a full serving. I'll I'll divide it in half, his portion, his usual portion, and let him eat half of the plate, and then wait maybe 1 or 2 hours, and I'll give him the second serving. Yeah, he just wanted to eat, kept on wanting to eat. And I felt sorry for him, you know. He would be pacing in the, at nighttime, even he'd be pacing around the room and he would pee all over. And I don't like that. So yesterday I gave in. And because he was such a good boy about, because I was cleaning all day, because he had his first meal, his breakfast, and he was real quiet because he got the chicken. And he was sleeping all day in the kitchen while I worked, and everything was good. So I wanted to reward him. And so, yeah, I kind of overdid it. And I gave him, I didn't divide the plate. And I gave him the full bowl. I said I wanted to reward him for being such a good boy. And yes. Oh, hello, viewer. So, um, so everything I thought seemed cool. Yeah, I served his dinner late. I usually serve it like at 4 or 4:30, but it was 5 p.m. And so I gave him the food, and maybe an hour and a half later, one and a half hours later, I was just finishing up the kitchen, and then I went in the hallway. I think I might have turned on the light. Yeah, he was quiet. I see him lying down, and then something caught my eye. I said, "What's that around him?" I couldn't believe it. It's okay, baby. Yeah, he's just waking up now. Yeah, he had regurgitated and was lying right on top of it. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, so that never I mean, he's regurgitated before. Uh, but it wasn't like right on it. I speculate that when it happened, I mean, everything came up. I was in shock, and I lifted him up. He was sleeping, or I could right on top of it. So, oh my God, I was so in shock. So I had to find a clean cloth to wipe him down. Yeah, so yeah, please pray for him, my little baby boy. Um, I mean, if you only knew how, many of you who have been following my video for especially the last 5 years, you know how active he was, everything. So yeah, he got sick here, and I think I'm seeing what it is. You know what I mean? I um I see that his health, his behavior, just everything. But I think I found these supplements. I think it is helping a little bit. I just got it less than a week ago. So, but if you could please pray for him, for his wellness, his vision, just everything, his cognition. He'll be 13 years old in January. And I'm really hoping that he'll have his 13th birthday. Yeah. So I don't go out as much with him, you know, because he's prone to infection, an eye infection in particular when we go out. So I've been, just staying home with him. Sometimes I might go out by myself. I've done that, but I want to stay in contact with him. So that's that. Okay. The other thing I want to talk about, let's see. I was watching these videos about these super rich, and my thoughts about them. I see the world differently now. I see a lot of things. I mean, especially like living here uh, in Africa, and you see the haves and the have-nots. And then when you look at these, I was watching the videos on the super rich, those mega yachts and everything. Um, and I looked at them and I asked myself regarding these so-called rich people, the million and billionaires, and I felt an irritation about them. I'm being honest. I mean, I'm from New York, New York City, and there are people in New York City who have money, and you have those who have lean pockets. But when I was looking at the videos on how the rich live and all that, I had irritation watching. I was analyzing, I said, how come, like you see these people, like some of them had these big yachts, and they would have people on them, and they call them friends, that they will invite their friends, and they'll come by, they have drinks, eat good food, and these are people, the ultra wealthy, the top 1%. But I looked at them, I said, in trying to comprehend. I mean, yeah. I mean, the obvious, when you have money, you're gonna have people who want to be around you because they want what you have and what you can give them. Okay, but with the videos about the documentary on these rich, and you see all these people, and they will repeat like, oh, they will um have their friends, and they're all kissy and huggy, right? I said, what makes these people different? How come they was having these parties? In hindsight, also what's going on in the back of my mind are, um, the Epstein files, Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, I even saw one of these videos with someone, he Virgin Records, and he has a controversial background, I remember. And he bought an island, I think it said in 1978. He bought a whole island that's located in the Caribbean. And he built it up, and I think they said it cost, to vacation there, $200,000 a day. And they have to boat in the people who live on the island of Virgin Gorda to be the people who clean up and everything. And then he seems to recruit people, European type people who might teach about snorkeling and all that. It reminded me of like a Club Med type of thing. And you see a lot of the people that work there, a lot of female, a lot of young females. And I remember seeing they were showing a young girl. She looked about, in my opinion, she looked about 16. And she has a man lying on his belly getting a massage. He was completely nude. They had to cover, over his bottom. But you could tell he's, part of the towel was a little low, so you could see part of his boom boom. And I said, okay, he's naked. And a young girl is straddling on top of his back. And I said to myself, this is nasty. I don't know. I mean, this was a grown man. Uh, Maybe he could have been in his 40s. Good looking. And there was another lady next to him getting the massage also. And it just looked too invasive to me. It's like all, it seemed like all the staff, the majority of the staff were all female. Under all of them, they said were under 30. But the ones that did the massage, those were the ones that looked like teenagers. And I felt uncomfortable. I should say I felt angry and disgusted because it just didn't look right. Someone that young, straddling some dude who's on his belly, um, and it just seems like the super rich just seem to. They always having parties, right? They always have a lot of, extreme luxuries. This particular documentary, and but you ask yourself, who are these people? How does someone afford $200,000 a day at that resort, that private island? They get everything in. Everything is imported. And everything they need, they get, and somehow able to just import everything, the top quality foods. And I think the part when they would say in another video, oh, they'll invite their friends. Honey, I don't have a lot of friends. I don't, and I admit it. I'm a very private person in general. All these people, and there's how many people really have that many friends? Let's be honest. How many people have a truckload of friends that you can fill a mega yacht or these and I look at it and I say, they look happy. So why, I mean, are they really, I mean, I'm not trying to be pessimistic. I'm really not. But it's like you look at reality and I just see this is not real. You think their buddy, I mean, if you've met people with money, they generally are not the nicest people because they have demands, they're demanding, and they may feel because they have or because they think they have that they could talk to people a certain way. So that was my experience with people who claim to be rich. I used to do retail. I used to live in Hawaii, in the island of Maui. Boy, it was a long time ago, over 25 years ago. And I used to live there and work there. And at one particular point living there, I did retail. I was selling jewelry. And I remember a man, he was bragging about, he was a customer, and he was bragging about the money that he has. And he was asking me what I can give him for free of the jewelry because he's wealthy. And so when I watch these videos, documentaries on how the rich live, and I remember my time in Hawaii and how certain people act. And I used to also work at a resort, but that was like an all-inclusive, that was, it's all-inclusive. And it was just, I don't know. It when you're working around vacationers and Europeans and their lifestyle, you know, they who are these people? And why are they respected? They even mentioned in one of the things I was watching, it was a woman. Um, she was not, considered rich, but she always said she could have worked there so that, but maybe it was her time or it was something, but she's not super rich, and she wanted to have dinner that she was paying for, and she noticed that they didn't treat her well. Being treated, yeah, yeah, she wasn't super rich. Yeah, she didn't work there. She didn't work there, but um, she was in the industry. She catered to these people. Like, you have people, they're not mega rich, but they sell and cater to the rich. And she had time to have a nice dinner. She went to this fancy restaurant where these super rich would eat. And she noticed that uh, the waiter and waitresses did not treat her that well. But she noticed that the people, tables nearby, they were being treated better. And that upset her. And that would upset me also. So that's what I mean, that status and who's going to be, who you're going to look up to, who you're going to revere. And the people that you might think that you're supposed to revere could be some of the wickedest people. I mean, look at with the Jeffrey Epstein's, and the people who, I'm sure some of those people on that list knew what they were doing and knew what it was all about and took advantage of those young ladies, or young, I should say, young girls, because they weren't adult. And you see the behavior. And how do these people, how is that these people have so many friends, these rich billionaires and millionaires, and they're always having a party, and they always invite people, and they just everything on a grand scale. And they may not even have kids, whatever, but they have these super mansions, yachts. So they're not buying it because they need the size, because they have a large family. It is to invite people. These people are not their friends, even though they call them friends. They're business associates. They want you to come over so you can look up to them and network. The mega rich network. And they act like they're friends, but they are not. And I think that's what was upsetting me watching. And I don't know, how would it make you feel? How does it? I mean, when you watch these documentaries, these things on YouTube about these super rich, what's going through your mind? How do they have access to all these people? And I also wonder how people could sell to them. I mean, to sell to the mega rich, you would have to have access to the type of goods that they would want, right? So you have to have enough money to have these things to sell. Yep. Yeah, I wish here, like the country that I live in, it is a landlocked country. And it's so hard to get basic supplies. Basic supplies. And that is my biggest concern living here. Um, I like a lot of things about this place where I live now. I love the weather. I love looking at the trees and everything. That's what sold me with this country to move here. I love the rolling hills. I love the trees. Oh, they have birds. They have a lot of nature. Boy, they have critters here. Yeah, a lot of it. A lot of it. So um, I start to really think. Um, you see, like these videos I'm watching, I feel more sensitive now about life, about the illusion of wealth, the illusion of what is happiness. And one lady that was being served, I mean, one of the maids in the documentary on the super rich, she was being interviewed. She was a very large framed West Indian, dark skinned West Indian woman, dressed very clean and neat. They wore like what they call like a aloha shirt. We call it like the aloha shirt. Pretty, very vibrant shirt and a solid color um, skirt or pants. Looked very nice to hear. They were very clean, very immaculate. And they were, yeah, she and the rest of the staff, they have to, they get a boat. Well, first they have to pick them up from a bus, and then the bus to the ferry, and then they have to, boat them to the other island. And yeah, these people came from Virgin Gorda. It's a very, very small island. And I think they said 40% of the population work on that island, owned by that man, did this other island in the Caribbean. And yeah, they're very grateful they have a job. And they asked her, what will make you happy? Oh, if I have a house, I'll you know, she had to share her room with I think her daughter or something. And but if she could only have if she had got money, she will build a house. She's a big one, and I would have the master bedroom upstairs, and I have it all by myself, and my children would sleep on the bottom floor. But it's like happy. What will make you happy? And it's like there are people that have a master bathroom. A lot of these super rich have multiple homes, massive rooms, beautiful furniture, and they are not happy. It was just really telling, really, really telling that after a while, when I was watching, and I said, whether you have a king size bed, a queen size bed, a full size bed, or a twin size bed, a bed is a bed. After a while, it doesn't make a difference whether you drink out of a um, crystal glass or ceramic cup. It's it's a tool. The material things are just tools. They are tools for you to live. And when you're super super rich, after a while, it just seems like doesn't make a difference. Does it really make a difference? And that's what I'm starting to see now. I think, yeah, I've been feeling sensitive lately, the past month, and I've shared this before that concerned about my little baby, you know, little Lavvy's health, and my experiences here uh, in this country. It's I just have a different. I'm more like I analyze things even more now. I watch what What is life all about? What is all about, people? We go around life, and I think like coming from New York, like some people like they like these showpieces, these we call it bling, these status symbols like a special type of handbag or status shoes. A shoe is a shoe. If the shoe fits, wear it, you know? Is it comfortable, the shoe? Is it, a lot of people are getting these things, but it may not even give you comfort. How could you get comfort wearing pointy, tight shoes? And it's this type of awareness that I'm really developing now. Like, does it really matter? Does it, people? Does it really matter? Uh, or what social club you go to? Remember with the Diddy party with P Diddy? Remember he had given a party at was that City College, and they wanted to hype it up. Everybody wanted to be there, and what happened? Casualties. They overpacked it, and the people got squashed to death. I think 8 or 9 people passed away, all so that they could be around celebrities and all that. And I'm angry. I'm angry about that people are being fooled and being seduced that in order to have a good life, you have to be around rich people and these so-called rich and envy these you want to be like these rich people. And you see what a guy like what P. Diddy did. You heard about it in court, right? But everybody want to be around, to his parties. Why? Everybody knew what he was all about. Everybody, right? I've never met him. I've never met him. I don't follow the genre of music, but of course, uh, I've heard of him over the years. Past 30 years, and yeah, I remember him. I remember, and I didn't like it. I knew of someone who interviewed. Yeah, she used to in this young woman that I knew. She was a video what do you call it? She was on cable TV in New York, and she would um, be on videos interviewing these rap singers. So I knew what these guys were about. She would tell me how horrible they were. So yeah, so I think my life, I feel that things are going to like a peak, and it's going to be a big fall. That people are reaching out, making more and more money. They even say with the people who own the mega yachts. They said back in the day, the average age, or they said that you were at least in your 60s with the big yachts. They said now these people with these yachts are in their 20s and 30s. Could you believe that? Yeah, I would imagine they're what we call it influencers. Yeah, it's like a new culture with what they call influencers. I heard that term uh, not too long ago. It's before I moved here to Africa. But they're 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 getting people now. People are getting richer, and they're getting richer at a younger age. But the world is in a mess. So I just have my tolerance. My tolerance for everything is uh, very short these days. Yeah, what's really important? Yeah, there was something else too that is on my mind. You hear Lavin. You see, she's yes, Lavender. That's Lavender snoring. There was something else. I thought of something. I was going to get something. Was it yesterday? Yeah, someone. I was going to get a helper. I had an interview. I interviewed. I should say. I interviewed someone 2 days ago, and boy, I was tired. I was a little nervous because I never interviewed anybody before. I was always the interviewee. I mean, yeah, the interviewee. And yeah, I had someone come over to my house. It knocked on my gate, my house gate, on Saturday afternoon, and they were looking for work. And I wasn't looking for anyone, and I said, "Well, let me take your information, and if I meet somebody who needs someone like you, I can give you your a number if you like." And I got her full name and telephone number, and she told me the area where she lived, and I visit that area all the time. Um, and then I walked away from my gate, and then I started thinking. I started thinking. I said, "Hey, maybe I should consider getting someone to help me out here. You know, you pay them." And my mind was racing at the idea. And you know what else? I even discussed it with AI. Yes, I did. AI, wow. The AI on my phone, Gemini, was fantastic. They are, you know, they you present them an issue, and they have insight. And I utilized the insight, and it suggested certain things, questions to ask, you know, how I should present it. And I said, okay, well, you know, um, I see, like, as I mentioned earlier, my tolerance. Yeah, my tolerance also is shorter being here in this country. Uh, there's a lot of things. I, I mean, I really like this country. But again, when you get older, your patience can get shorter. When you start to you know, get older, you want more comfort, right? You want more comforts of living standards. And yeah, I've been tired lately. I get a little. This country is very, very hilly, very hilly, and yeah, you get tired. And the shopping, it's hard to get the things that you might need. Um, so, you know, I talked to this business lady that I know here, and I shared her my concerns. Like, boy, I'm tired lately, and you know, X, Y, and Z. And she suggested that maybe you should get someone to help you. I'm very resistant about things like that. Um, I never had something like that in America, but I started thinking about it. Most of the people, if not all of the people who live in houses, modern houses, they all have helpers. And so I said, let me go for it. I'll do it. I'll, I said, I'll call that lady myself. So I talked to a AI about it, Gemini app, and they told me what to ask. So after I got off of I wrote down the things that, like, what I like, what I need, things like that, in a housekeeper. And I called her on Monday. And I was very eager, very, very eager. And sometimes you can see the signs, people. It didn't happen. Okay, she did come by. I called at, it was a little after 8 in the morning. Yeah, people here in this country, that people who work, helpers, they're up and working at 6 o'clock in the morning. Okay. So the first sign that something was a no-no, when I called, we spoke just a little bit. She said, "I'll come by because I don't think she was able to understand everything that I said. Her English um, is not the best, but it's okay." So she felt more comfortable just to come in person, and we would talk in person regarding my interest for her working here. So she came about 50 minutes later, and she came in, and I had my questions. I was there. I brought it into the house. I did the first clue, yeah. Um, peop, she had later said that she was asleep when I called. That was the first warning. Okay, you're an African woman and you have children. She had said during the interview. Um, why are you still in bed sleeping? And if you have kids, let's say the kids went to school already, but still, you be up doing your chores. Okay, right? Um, I I uh, I I felt a little at some point I was maybe repetitive, but I feel comfortable with her. She seemed like a very nice person, and yeah, I see. I realize also in life, be upfront with people, be honest with people. Yeah, I told her, like AI told me to write a list of what did you something of tolerance. Zone, what was that? Zone of tolerance? Something like that. It just, it just, oh, that's right. Zero tolerance. Zero tolerance. You write down the essentials of the place. That what is not tolerated. What if you do a certain thing, it's immediate dismissal. You have to put that out there. You have to know. They have to know what your rules and regulations are. Someone would be in your house. Now, they weren't going to be living in the house. The person would commute, should do her chores, and then she'd go home and stay. So she wouldn't be a resident here, but a commuter. And she lives nearby. And what I did show her around, and I felt very eager. I have to admit, I actually felt very eager. And but I did also notice she started yawning. She was getting tired. And me too. I was getting tired too. This was the morning. She had arrived at around, it was 10 o'clock. And I think discussion and tour of the place was it was by 11:30. So, but AI did warn me that they were to, the person that I interview, that they are to start then if they accept the position. And I asked her, I said, I've read everything, all the rules, and that everything that what I need to be done daily. It was a schedule I showed her, um, if she wanted or not, and it'll be like a trial period. So she said that she was interested, and I repeat. I said, just make sure that, how to word it now. Um, I wanted her to be sure that I told her that lateness. One thing, people, as you get older, lateness. I told her, don't be late. And I told her that any you know, three latenesses within a 30-day period, that you won't have a job here anymore. Yeah, I put my cards on the table, and everything even it still seemed very positive. I don't know, she was getting sleepy. So at one point where I completed the interview, and I was showing her around what needed to be done. But she says, um, I if that she wasn't going to start then, but the next day. And that was actually a warning also, that if they're going to start, they were to start that day, and that was in the contract agreement, that the trial period was to begin that particular day up to 2 weeks. It was actually a 12-day period, and she said yes, that she would take it, and I felt comfortable with her. I actually liked her, and but then she said, yeah, I think she was still. Yeah, I think we were still sitting down. She said, I'll start tomorrow morning. You know, I want to get myself ready today, blah, 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 blah. And, I was feeling tired too. I have to admit, I felt tired talking to her. I mean, the door was open, the front door, so we had good air circulation. But I too was getting tired as well. I felt tired. Um, and so she leaves. And I reminded her, remember to please come on time the next day at such and such time. But later on, when I went to bed, uh, I started thinking. Yeah, I had fallen asleep, and then I woke up real early that morning, and something said, "Don't take her. Don't do it. Yeah, don't do it." I just certain things, certain clues. Um, Yeah, the thing with, oh yeah, the fact that she was still in bed, sleeping at 8 o'clock in the morning, and again you have children. That was one thing. Uh, Coughing. She was coughing like like when you're living in Africa or any other place, you don't want to get sick. You don't want to get sick, okay? And she started coughing during the interview. The first time she did, I didn't say anything, and she didn't cover her mouth. And then she does it again. I said, please cover your mouth when you cough. And she said, oh, excuse me. And then she coughed again, but she did put her hand to the her mouth. Yeah, it. I just, my mind just started racing when I woke up the next morning. I said, you're going to have someone in your home. And again, I like the people in this country. I like them. You can like anybody, but it doesn't mean that it's a good fit. We come from different worlds, and there's different expectations. And you know what else? Different training or the lack of training. People is real. You have people, um, you don't, she, let's, how old could you? I didn't ask her age, but um, at first I thought she was in 30s, 40s, but now I'm thinking 40s, 50s. And if someone that age doesn't know to cover their mouth when they cough, and I know to some of you this might seem petty, but remember during that pandemic in on 2020, it was very strict here. I wasn't living here at the time, but this country was very strict about what happened in 2020 health wise. Oh yeah. So it made me feel that she wasn't trained. I did ask her at the gate when she knocked on my gate. Um, I asked her, does she have experience at this? And I had like a vague answer like that. She used to be housekeeper, but then she started doing something else, and then now that she doesn't have that job now, you know, things like that. But again, she was I liked her though. Um, you don't know, sometimes you really you. s- I didn't feel that I mean, part of me wanted to take a chance, but part of me said, you don't need don't do it. Don't do it. And so what I did do, I text her. Uh, I text her before the time she would be here. Uh, and also if she were actually getting ready. So, because it was like, oh, what time was it? It was maybe an hour and a half before she was to come by. I said, let me just text her. She, if she's to be here on time, right? She'll be up getting washed and dressed. So I told her, I told her nicely that it may not be a good fit, that I had some concerns about X, Y, and Z. But I wish for her that she does find the right job for her needs. So um, I did like the person, but something I didn't want to risk it. But I was very hopeful. The day of the interview with her, I was very, very hopeful. I never had anyone working for me. It was a weird feeling. It was like when you have someone under you, you're responsible for navigating, you know, and it's different being a passenger and different being a driver, if you know what I mean. And if you haven't been a driver before, you just become more aware. And I, for the first time, really felt that awareness of being proactive. So I'm happy that I had the opportunity to interview someone and of the possibility of them working here. So yeah, I haven't heard from her. I didn't get a call back or a text back or anything like that. So I do not know whether they actually got my message. I don't know, to be honest. And so who knows? Maybe she just, maybe she got cold feet. I don't know. I don't know whether she got my message, and uh, and it's okay. It is okay. Yeah, be careful, people. Um, and you could like somebody, but they may not be a good fit. And sometimes, like, especially Westerners, when they go overseas to places, you might feel, there's sometimes a feeling of obligation to other people, an obligation that, oh, if you don't give them this job, they'll be destitute. People don't fall for it. Don't fall for that. I mean, yeah, we want to help, but see, it's your life and your peace of mind. Will this person who you're interviewing, will they give you peace of mind, or you're going to always be worried about something? Uh, and I realized also that you cannot save the world. I didn't come to this country to save the world. I'm not about that anymore. I used to think, I used to do volunteer work, and I started it in 2012. And I felt like I had to save everybody. I worked at a WIC office in Harlem. And when I was in school and in my training, we would have to read statistics, on health and the health disparities amongst, in particular, Black Americans. And so I felt like I had to save the Black community. And I did the volunteer work at a WIC office, and it was a burnout. It was an absolute burnout. Yes, I lasted there 9 months. Yeah, 9 months. And people, you may too feel at some time, let's say you move to a developing country. I'm going to say this. You're not responsible to save any of them but yourself. You cannot save people. People have to save themselves. There's nothing wrong for someone to ask, if they ask you for help, and if they ask correctly, and if you have a willingness, then it's okay to assist. But don't feel obligated that if you don't, or to put blame on yourself. You are not God. If it weren't you, if you weren't there, where would it go? In a lot of situations, people, a lot of situations, you have people who may come up to you and they might demand money from you. Do they really need the money, or they just want the money? And that's also something that I'm learning. People have wants and not needs. And sometimes individuals might look at people who they perceive as being rich. And because that perception, they want what you have. They want to share with what they think you have. Not that you actually even have it. That's a difference. It's a difference when someone hasn't had food. Sorry, I heard noise. Sorry, I thought I heard noise. That could be the neighbors. You were saying someone may feel that they want, that they want what you have. Be careful. Be careful. You are not responsible for what others have. I would say respect people of all different socioeconomics, respect humanity. And Again, you're not there to save the world because you can't. There's always going to be someone less fortunate than you. Some people, it's about their lifestyle. Some people, they just want handouts. Some people, they just are just stuck in their mentality. They don't know anything else. While others, they know what they want and they go for it, whether in Africa or America or Asia, any place, or Europe. You are not responsible for the conditions of the poor, but don't make it harder for the poor. And sometimes the poor is just that. See, some people may drive Mercedes, and some people may drive a Volkswagen, and some people drive a Toyota or what was the other car, or a Ford. It's okay. Sometimes we get hung up on the type of car rather that we get to A to Z. And if some people may not have that Mercedes or Bentley that they feel that they're without. Be grateful with what you do have. Learn to be content. I want to learn to be content with what I do have. And while I'm still here in this country, what I learned about the housekeeper, yeah, um, she won't be working here. And again, I don't know whether she got my message, my text message to her. But either way, she didn't call me back and she didn't come back. And I said to myself, I said, all the things that I wanted her to do with the chores in the house, I can do it for myself. Pace yourself. Pace yourself. Maybe just do one day, one room at a time. One room a day or something like that. Be content. Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, I felt I was getting so um, glued to watching these videos, and it was pulling down my spirit. So I said, no, I don't want this. I want to stay busy. I want to do things. I want to. I want. It's pulling down your spirit. So I said, let me just do other things. So I was working on the garden. Getting my plants and everything. And that's when the person came to my gate, knocking on my gate. Yeah. So so it was an eye opener. This whole thing that yes, initially at first I said, oh, I wasn't looking for anybody, but I took her information and I started, hey, let me try it. And then afterward, when I realized I wasn't going to use her or whatever, I said to myself, pamper yourself. Do good things for yourself. Save your money. That's right, save your money. And do things for yourself. Do things to, uh, fix up the place. Again, you never know. Maybe in the future, maybe someone else might come by, or maybe I might get a good recommendation. Um, I want things to be an asset to me. I want some, yeah, I did like the idea of having someone who's responsible, who can possibly do it. But in the meanwhile, do good things for yourself. I need to take care of my dog, really monitor my dog these days. and try to take things one day at a time and be in gratitude. And a lot of this stuff we see in these videos, what do you call it, influencers, to be invited to these mega boats and everything, would that really make you happy? I don't want to get stressed out. I don't want to feel like I have to prove anything to anybody. It's a horrible feeling. And that's what I want to avoid, the trap. I think some I think sometimes people want to live a certain way, but they may not be able to afford it. Or to rely on a place, I mean, is it necessary? Is certain things necessary to have to feel fulfilled? I hope I don't get materialism, but I do like nice things. I want to be comfortable. I would say I'm comfortable now. I would just say it's more of a emotional thing with my stay here in this country, the passing of my little ones and uh, my little boy, my little Pekingese. His health is not what it used to be in this state. So yes, pray for me. Pray for my direction. Pray for to have more wisdom in dealing with my little fur baby. I want his I want to make him as comfortable and as happy as possible. Yeah, and just before I did this live stream, I did a short 40 something second video, like a short, uh, with me holding Lavvy. Yeah, his tongue is sticking out, and you heard him snoring. So yeah, I just want to gather what moments I have with him. I want to learn to really appreciate my little boy. I want him to know I'm here for him. And it's going to be a rocky road, but you pray for me and that I'm able to handle what life will bring me, okay? Yeah, I thank you. I thank you very much for this opportunity to share with you, being introspective about everything. Yeah, it just seems like a lot mentally that I've been experiencing the past month. I'm okay. And life is what it is, people. Yep. If you want a life, you have to create your own life, your own life. Don't look for others to make it for you. Make it for yourself and be in gratitude. That is my message. So, me and Lavvy Boy here, we say good morning and have a nice day. Until next time, bye bye.